Okay, good morning everyone in Chazak Baruch. Thank you for joining us on this beautiful Friday morning, Erev Shabbat Kodesh, as we are studying together Perashat Shofetim with the lens of the Or HaHaim HaKadosh. And as we start approaching near the end of the Sefer Torah, of the Hamishah Humshet Torah, we have to start thinking ahead. Who is this upcoming year's commentary that we're going to do for the next year? Just something to think about. But either way, we still have a few Perashiot left of the Or HaHaim and amazing insights and lessons to learn. Perashat Shofetim, chapter 20. Let's read the Psukim together. Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oyevecha. When you will go out to war against your enemy. And again, many Psukim begin with those words. There's a Perashat next week, that's Perashat Ki tetzeh. But that's not what I'm reading right now. Right now I'm reading chapter 20, Pasuk Aleph. Ki tetzeh lemilchama al oyevecha. When you go out to wage war against your enemy, Vera'ita sus varechev am rav mimmecha, and you will see that they have horses and chariots, people more numerous than you. Lo tira mehem, do not be afraid. Ki Adonai Elohecha emach, because God is with you. Hama'alcha me'eret Mitzrayim, who brought you forth from the land of Egypt. So the Or HaHaim over here is going to explain the pasuk a little bit differently, but again on a simple level. The pasuk is saying that the Jewish people, we know, Ki lo b'chayil v'lo b'koach. We don't fight with our numbers. We're not successful because of our prowess. What makes us special as the Jewish people, the reason we win is because we have Hashem. And the Jewish people, when we have God, we could win even with minority, even with a few people, a few soldiers. The 6-day war, we were outnumbered, and yet we won. And we won because Hashem was with us. We can never forget that. We can never forget that we win and we succeed when we have Hashem. Ele bareche ve'ele basusim. They go with their horses, they go with their chariots, they have their guns. Va'anachnu b'shem Hashem naskir. We walk with Hashem. Of course, we also have to have horses. Of course, we have to have tanks. Of course, we have to have an air force and an army and military. We have to have intelligence. But that's not why we win. We win because we have Hashem. That's what the pasuk is saying. The Or HaHaim comes over here and he says that this whole pasuk is understood also on a deeper level. And we know the Or HaHaim is so good at this. Taking the pshat and opening it now to a layer of remez. The pasuk, he says, let's read together. Ulai, perhaps, Ramaz HaKatuv, the Torah here is alluding, Lemilchemet Adami Mitzro, to a man's battle with his Yetzer Hara. Ki tetzeh lamilchama al oyevecha. It's not only talking about Hamas, it's not only talking about the enemies of the Jewish people, all the enemies that we have out there that are very, very clear today. It's not only talking about those enemies. Ki tetzeh lamilchama, it's talking about the enemy within, the Yetzer Hara. When you go out lamilchama imitzro with your Yetzer Hara, with the evil inclination. Uba lehasir milebo morecha. Now this evil Yetzer Hara, he wants you to fall. He wants you to become corrupt. So Torah is over here coming to remove from one's heart the intimidation that could exist from Yetzer Hara. You know, sometimes when it comes to doing right things, when it comes to succeeding, when it comes to doing mizvot, we're sometimes afraid. We're intimidated. We feel like there's something insurmountable. How am I going to do this? I'm going to have my family is going to go against me. I'm going to get so much pushback. I can't do it. In life, sometimes we feel like mountain's too high to climb. So therefore the pasuk is saying, Ki tetzeh lamilchama. When you go out to the battle, the ki tetzeh lamilchama hayedu'ah, the known battle. The known battle, she'en gedola mimena. There is no greater battle in life, my friends, than the battle against the Yetzer Hara. Don't ever forget that, first of all. The biggest battle in life is not the battle against your spouse. It's not the battle against your coworkers. It's not the battle against the guy in shul who's talking. It's not a battle against the other type of Jews that are not the same as you. That's all a distraction. The real fight in life is the fight within. That's what we're really supposed to fight. And unfortunately, a lot of times, because we're supposed to fight. We're created to fight. But we're supposed to fight the enemy within inside of us. And we get distracted, and instead of fighting him, we fight everyone around us. So we come home and we start bickering, and we pick fights with our spouse. We pick fights with the people that we love. We pick fights with the whole world. The wrong fight. Because we have an urge to want to fight. That's normal. That's Hashem created. But we're channeling it in the wrong direction. We're channeling it to the wrong people. We want to fight. We want to grow. The soul wants to grow. But we take that want of growth and instead we channel it on other people. How come you're not growing? How come they're still not Shomer Shabbat? How come this guy's doing that? And the whole world has to change instead of changing ourselves. That want to change, we have to channel inwards. And that's a natural craving that a person has to grow. It's hard though to grow me. It's easier to grow you. So when a person comes home, they feel ugly about their own growth. So what do? They start demanding that everyone else has to grow. Why are you not growing? Why are you not growing? Why are you not changing? How come you're not learning? How come they're not becoming better? You have to remember in life, there's nobody that you can make grow except yourself. Should I say that again? There's nobody that you can change except yourself. You're only in charge of yourself. After 120, God's not going to ask you, how come you didn't change your spouse? Hashem's not going to ask you, why are they not religious? That's not what Hashem's going to ask you. Hashem's going to ask you, what about you? How come you didn't grow? Some people get married and they make it their mission that they're going to make somebody out of their spouse. I'm going to turn them, I'm going to change them. Rabbi, how many phone calls I get? Rabbi, help me change my son. Help me change my daughter. Help me change my husband. Help me change my wife. You're not in charge of changing people. Only person you could change is yourself. That's first and foremost. And that's the fight. The fight of the enemy within. Don't get caught up on the wrong battle. Right? Don't get caught up on the battle. Yeah? Maybe people in the summer spend the summer with family under one roof. And the whole summer, all they're doing is criticizing. Look at your sister. Look at your brother. Look how they raise their kids. That's not your fight. Don't get distracted. They'll have to figure that out. Their parenting. But that's not your avodah. If the takeaway of the summer is look how bad your sister-in-law is, look how bad your brother-in-law is, look how bad your father-in-law or your mother-in-law or your sister's kids or your brother's kids, that's not the takeaway. That's not your fight. You're getting distracted. Your fight is the enemy within. Don't worry about other people. Let them fight. Let them figure it out. It's not your problem. It's between them and Hashem. They're horrible. They're crooked. What's wrong with them? Let them figure that out. They don't go to shul. They go too much to shul. That's between them and Hashem. You do your own fight. And the fight, oyevecha, your enemy. Who's your enemy? The enemy of the Yetzer Hara. And a person may be afraid of this Yetzer Hara. Why? Says the Or HaHaim, keep going. Vehene b'mehamazo yeshne dvarim kashim le'adam. With this Yetzer Hara, there are two things. Shematishim koh. There are two things in this battle that they weaken our power to fight. What are these two? First of all, I'm not experienced. We're not as seasoned as the Yetzer Hara is. The Yetzer Hara is trained. He is seasoned. The Yetzer Hara is aware of all the strategies at his disposal. He's battled for many, many years. And he knows exactly how to fight, what to fight. He's been around for much longer than us, the Yetzer Hara. A person, we've got to develop strategies. We have to make a lot of mistakes until we're aware of our strengths and our weaknesses, of how to fight the Yetzer Hara. So first of all, he's much more experienced. He's much more experienced. Sheni, number 2, הרכבת האדם חובק את דברי היצר הרע בכל אשר יאמר אליו. The man's composition is it causes him to embrace the words of the Yetzer Hara and all that it tells him. Naturally, we want to do the wrong thing. Lignov, to steal, veligzol, to rob, ligot, to be arrogant, veleechol, to eat whatever is forbidden. Right? We're animalistic. We have, man is created from partially animal, ground, and we have a soul, godly. The animal in us wants to do the wrong thing. The animal in us wants to eat, wants to be selfish, wants to steal. Right? Animals, they take food from other animals. They don't think, I shouldn't take that monkey's banana, belongs to Musa, the other monkey. The monkey doesn't think like that. He sees the monkey, he sees the banana, he takes the banana. You ever go to a zoo and hold a banana? You think the monkey cares that he's stealing from you? He grabs his hand, he takes the banana. So animals, they don't have a Yetzer HaTov. Animals, they want to do the wrong thing. They want to steal. They want to be... We have a conscious. We have a Yetzer HaTov. We have Tzelei Belokim. We were created in the image of God. We have a Neshama. We have free will. We have the ability to choose not to steal. But that's not the default. Default, the harkava, the composition, the man, the body, craves the wrong things. So 2 reasons why a person naturally would be intimidated. First of all, the Yetzer Hara is much stronger. And secondly, we are inclined to also think like the Yetzer Hara. Especially even more so, a person's vulnerable after they've stumbled so many times and they committed so many sins that now they developed habits to do the wrong things. They developed addictions for the wrong things. So basically, a human, he says, Harehu benehim, he's all of these forces, kaharara she'en la hofchim, like a biscuit on a fire with no one to turn it. What happens if you put a biscuit on a fire? It's going to get burned. We're finished. We're toast, literally. What's going to happen? How am I going to fight the Yetzer Hara? How am I supposed to win? How am I supposed to win? You know how hard it is, Rabbi, to get married today? You know how many competition? You know how many people? How am I supposed to do it? Sometimes in life we feel like it's impossible. The mountain is impossible to climb. How am I supposed to raise my kids today's world? Today, all the different influences, the bad, even neutral, it's not a Torah, hashkafa a lot of times. How am I supposed to raise my kids today? It's impossible. We feel like sometimes in life, things are impossible. So that's what the Pasuk is saying. Look at this. Ki tetzeh lamilchama. When you go out to a battle against your evil inclination. Vera'ita sus varechev. And you'll see the sus, you'll see the horse, you'll see the rechev, the chariot. Sus represents the Yetzer Hara. Who sus muchan leyom milchama. A sus, a horse, was created to fight, by the way. A horse was created to battle. A horse knows how to fight. He runs. That's what a horse does. The Yetzer Hara is like the horse. He's running to fight. He knows how to fight. He's talented. He's gifted. He's strategic. That's the sus. Mashe'en ken Adam, unlike man. Man is not a natural warrior. He's not as capable a warrior as the Yetzer Hara. That's for sure. Varechev keneged harkavat ha'adam shenoteh ve'choshek et advarim. Chariot is a reference, rechev, to the harkava, to the composition of man. Like we said, man naturally wants to do the wrong things. So sus, varechev. Sus, the Yetzer Hara is much stronger than us. Right? Rechev is the natural tendency of man, is also bad. And not only that, we said there's a third. Am rav mimecha. There's There's a great nation. So again, you have to read the text. Simply it says, if you see that you're fighting a nation that's greater than you, Am Rav Mimecha, greater than you. Or Rahim says also it could mean, Am Rav Mimecha, that it's a great nation because of you. Sometimes the evil is because of our past choices. We've created an addiction. It's Mimecha, it's because of our choices in the past that we now have habits for the wrong things. So the Pasuk is listing 3 reasons why it's hard to fight. Sus, Yetzirah stronger. Rechev, natural tendency. Mimecha, and we've created addictions. But. Says the Pasuk, Afal Pike, nonetheless. Bad Varo Hatov ve'amar. Comes the good word of Hashem and says, Lo tira mehem. Do not fear them. You know why? Ki Hashem Elokecha emach. Because Hashem is with you. You're not fighting this battle alone. If you were fighting on your own strength, you'd be toast. You don't have the energy. You don't have the ability to prevail the battle. But because now you have God on your side, you can prevail. You have Hashem on your side, so now you could win. You have Hashem, even if everything is stacked against you. Now you could win. That's what the Pasuk is saying. Ki tetzela milhama. You're not alone. You're not alone. Moshe Rabbeinu was afraid of Paro. Moshe thought, how am I going to defeat Paro? He's too powerful. He's going to outsmart me. Paro's, you know what God says? Bo el Paro. Moshe, not go to Paro. Moshe, come to Paro. Come with me. Moshe, you're not alone. If you're alone, of course you should be scared. If you're alone, of course you're going to fail. But you're not alone. The Gemara says that the Yetzirah is much stronger than us. He's fire. Lule Hashem be'ezro lo yacholo. If God wasn't there to help, we wouldn't defeat him. The good news is that God is there to help. We say every day in the Amidah, Melech ozer u'moshia u'magen. God helps. Whatever you want to achieve today, muster up the courage and the confidence, because no, you are not alone. Whatever you're entering, whatever the conversation, whatever deal, whatever date you may go on, you're not alone. Esther was afraid. How am I going to outmuscle Haman, Ahashverosh? Mordechai said, you're not alone. You have Hashem with you. She walks in. God draws on her a string of charm, of chesed, of chen, and she crushes it. She conquers Haman. She kills him. She defeats him. You're not alone in life. In life, you can never do it alone. You think you can do anything? Guys starting off in a business. 20 years later, he sees he built this whole empire. You can't do that. What'd you do? You picked up a couple of phone calls. You went to a few dinners. All of a sudden you have multi-million-dollar company, billion-dollar company. It's Hashem anyways. You need Hashem. Hashem helps. You got to start. You got to do the first step. Haba letaher mesay'in oto. Person comes to be pure, they help him. And in life, this is the trick of life. In life, when we want to accomplish, when you want to achieve, you have to realize you can't do it alone. But you don't have to. You have help. Hashem's with you. And if a person remembers that, he taps into the greatest resource available. HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The Chafetz Chaim, when they invented the elevator, the Chafetz Chaim, he walked in, they showed him how, they said, look how it works. You push a button, it takes you up. The Chafetz Chaim, when he saw that, he started crying. They said, Rabbi, why are you crying? He said, now I understand life. You see, in life, you can never get to the top alone of the Empire State Building. 100 flights, you can't do it. You just got to walk in and push the button. The rest Hashem does. You want to think about, how am I going to support children? tuition so expensive. You need today hundreds of thousands just to start. I'm only making half of that. You're not doing it alone. You have Hashem. You just got to start. You push the button. Walk in the elevator. Guy, Rabbi, you want to start a class? It's impossible. No one's interested. How are we going to do it? No one wants to come. It's a city of, that doesn't sleep. Everyone wants to work and make money. Who's going to even attend? Don't worry. Start a class. I started a class with two guys on Zoom, on COVID. 2 guys. You're sitting on a class, like 2 people. And you start getting a little, I don't know what's the word, disheartened. 2 people. You know what? Don't worry. Start the class. Do the class. 1 guy shows up. Now, fast forward a few years, 40 people learning every Tuesday night in person. Deepest concepts of self-growth. Mesilat Yesharim. How'd that happen? That happened because you started and you pushed a button. And then Hashem takes you to the top. So don't worry about seeing the whole project to the end. That's not for you to worry about. You begin. You begin. Hashem is here. You have a partner. You have a school. You want to start a school. Yeah, where, how? Don't worry. Don't worry. Hashem is going to help you. You don't have to see it to the end. It's such an amazing concept. You're not fighting the enemy alone. If you were fighting alone, yes, be scared for your life. But the good news is you're not alone. You have the creator, the master of the world helping you. Sometimes you need a little bit of leap of faith. To get married. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. Marriage doesn't make sense. Living with someone, we think differently, men and women. And that doesn't make sense. The whole thing doesn't make sense. People that get older, by the way, you would think when you get older, you would have more of a maybe pressure to want to get married. A lot of times a lot of times people get older and actually they don't want to get married. Because when you get older, you get smarter and then you think about it and it doesn't make sense, marriage. Right? My wife always says you have to be young and dumb. Young and dumb. You got to be a little bit naive to get married. Because really, it doesn't make sense. Having children, how am I going to have children? Rabbi, I can't keep Shabbat. Do you want me to keep Shabbat this whole year? Forget about the whole year. Could you do one? Could you keep this Shabbat? This week. Could you keep this week? Yeah, I could keep this week. Okay, so keep this week. Just start. Don't worry about forever. You can't think 100 years down the line. You'll never do anything like that. You want to keep kosher. Rabbi, what? I got to dip my dishes now. I got to undo everything. Stop. Right now. You can keep kosher today. So start. For lunch, you're going for lunch. You can keep kosher lunch. There's 20 good stores near you that are kosher. So start with a kosher lunch. Don't worry about seeing down the line. Lo alecha hamlacha ligmor. It's not incumbent on you to finish. But you do have to start. Hashem continues. Melech ozer. Melech ozer. We saw yesterday a beautiful pasuk. Tamim tihiyeh im Hashem Elokecha. That you should be wholehearted with God. That you should be straight with Hashem. You shouldn't, don't try to outsmart Hashem, see the future. We saw yesterday the Orah Hayim. Don't worry about the future, right? But maybe today we see a new interpretation. Tamim means to be complete. The project, whatever project you want to do in life, it will be complete. Tamim, im Hashem, together with God. With God, it'll be complete. You need Hashem in the picture. Just push the button, Hashem will take you up, don't worry. Tamim tihiyeh, the job will finish with God. You can't finish it alone. You need a leap of faith. Bat Yash, she couldn't reach the basket. But she stuck out her hand. For whatever it's worth. I don't know where it's going to get me. You throw up a prayer. But you never know. Throw it up. Hashem could catch. Hashem's the best wide receiver. Just throw. I can't. There's no way I'm going to get the ball. How am I going to squeeze it in between the two defenders? Don't worry about it. Trust your wide receivers. Throw it up. Trust Hashem. Hashem's a pretty good catcher, okay? He's a good wide receiver. So Batya, she stuck out her hand. And what happened? Miracle of miracles. Somehow the basket came to her. She ended up finding it, but what she got there. Don't play God. Don't worry about. Just do your part. This is the lesson of Judaism. This is Hanukkah. Hanukkah, we have oil for one day. They could have said, okay, that's it. We have no point. We need 8 days. We're not going to get to 8 days. We don't have enough for 8 days till they come with more oil from the north. That's it. We're just going to wait till they come. We only have for one. Well, we're going to do one and then wait 7 more. Let's start off with a bang. Let's start off with excitement. Let's start the right way. Right? You want to start a kids minyan in a shul maybe. You say, you know what? We can't start right now. We have to have every single thing lined up. You're going to start. It's going to be weak. Only a few kids. Let's start in a few months when we have more momentum. Can't always think like that in life. Just start. Start the minyan. Light the first day. Who knows? You never know. Somehow maybe the oil lasts for 7. Hashem's not going to ask you about the results. Hashem's not going to ask you. He is going to ask you, why didn't you try? Did you try? Did you try? That's on you. And when a person understands that we have Hashem, and that's what it means, by the way, ki tetzeh milchama. Your job's not to win. Your job's just to go fight. Your job is just go out. Just put it on the clothes. Just go. Just show up. Hashem's also a partner in your life. He's Ozer. So this is amazing chizuk, my friends. When we enter the month of Elul, time of Teshuvah, we all want to be better. We all want to have better marriages. We want to have better relationship with our children, better relationship with our parents. We want to be better Jews. We want to start being healthier, right? We want to do a lot of good things this year. I'll never be like that. I'm going to build muscle like that. I'm going to start jogging for an hour every week, for 2 times, 3 times a week. I can barely find an hour. I can barely find time to have breakfast. Don't worry about breakfast. Don't worry about the whole year. Start. Buy the sneakers. Put them on. Go for one jog. You have an hour now? Go for a jog. You wanna start praying more? You can't pray every day? Okay. Buy a siddur. Open the siddur. Pray today. You have an hour. Pray right now. What's going to be next week? I don't know. Start today. Because when you want to grow, growing is very hard. Changing is one of the hardest things in life. But changing is also the easiest thing in life. Because you have Hashem with you. It's the hardest thing to start. But the second you start, it's actually very easy because then Hashem does the rest. The hardest thing is taking that first step into the elevator. Pushing the button. That's hard. Believing that it could work. If you never saw an elevator before, and I told you, listen, we're going to get all the way to the top. If you never saw an elevator, if you were born 200 years ago, you would say, how am I going to get to the top by stepping into this closed box? There's no stairs in this box. I don't know how am I going to get out of the box. Opposite, putting me in this box is preventing me from getting to the top because there's no way out of the box. Get me to the staircase. Don't worry, just get in the box. Believe in the system. Get in the box, push a button, do something. You'd be surprised. Hashem does magic. All of a sudden you make it to the top. You open the door. What? How did I get here? But you got to start. You just got to start. Put your best foot forward. Take a step. Melech ozer, Hashem helps. Ki tetzela milchama, when you go out to battle, you're going to see horses and chariots, much more powerful than you. I can't do this. Hashem Elokecha imach, Hashem is with you. And you remember that, and then you remember that you can do this. You can. You're not in this alone. And that's the power of this month. Ani ledodi vedodi li. Elul. I take a step to Hashem. Ani ledodi. Take a step to the elevator. Dodi li. God will pull me up. God helps me. Haba letaher mesayin oto. When we try to be pure, they help us. Be'ezat Hashem, we should be able to maximize this beautiful month of Elul in anything that we want to be victorious in, to never be afraid, to never fear failure. Because when we have Hashem on our team, we can never fail. We'll stop over here, everyone. Have a Shabbat Shalom, and we'll see you all next week. Bye-bye.